Thank you for tuning in to Clapback. Clapback is brought to you by Kingdom Keys and Healthy Living. If you would like to support Clapback, do so at Cash App, $Pastor K50, that's $Pastor K50, or you can hit the Podbean Patron button. 100% of your gift will go toward feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and building our communities. We support St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We support Shriners Children's Hospital. Please make sure you share the program today. Make sure you like it. Make sure you follow us. We have a great show prepared for you today. And I want you to get interactive with us today. Our phone lines will be open. Our chat session is open. And we just want to welcome you to Clapback. All right, as they say. All right. So we are here today. And beautiful day today. Got a lot to talk about. Supposed to have some special guests come on today. Let's see if they don't chicken out. My son and ex-wife are supposed to come on, but they're kind of scared. I don't know why people get scared to come on live and talk. So we're just gonna give them a few moments, see if they're gonna actually call in and help us with the show today. We have some things we want to talk about. So hopefully you've been having a great day today. We had some great conversations on today. Tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have a special guest that's going to be highlighting her business. We got Greg. What's up, my friend? G Love. Can you hear me, Greg?
What's going on, brother? What's going on?
Hey, man, I got some good stuff we want to talk about.
All right.
So how you been, man?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Getting in preparation for this upcoming film I'm in.
You gonna be in a film?
Yeah, I'll be in a movie. It's coming. It'll be airing this coming fall. We're actually doing the shooting now, but I'm guessing it's gonna probably air in the fall or the beginning of 2021.
Can you talk to us about it?
Well, I can't give all the real specific details, but let me just put it like this. It's going to be an eye catcher.
Okay.
It's going to be very, very, very suspenseful, put it that way.
Now they paying you, right? You getting paid, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm in the professionalism of the industry now.
So let's talk about that. Tell us how, because let's go back here. Now, Greg is from Indianapolis, Indiana. He's my cousin. He's a preacher. He's single. He's got a lot going for him. He's been a supervisor at the post office. He's done a lot of things. So what got you to go all the way from working in a postal situation? He also ran track, had a scholarship, and he's graduated from school. What changed your trajectory for you to wake up one day and say, I want to be in movies, I want to be a model?
I would say that it wasn't more or less what I thought, but it's more what people see in me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it takes someone else to call it out of you because you don't recognize the gift that you possess, but other people can recognize it and see it far-fetched than you can ever envision. And so I think it was more or less me having to believe for myself that I can do this. And I believe that once I begin to believe that I can really be a model, I can really be an actor, things just start opening up like wildfire, left and right. And I think it's more like God was really showing me like, this gift is in you. The Bible talks about, as us believers that believe in the Bible, it says that the callings and the gifts of God are without repentance. And so God is not going to take back something that he gave you. He gave you a gift. And it's how you use the gift that defines your lifestyle.
Now what about somebody because like say, me and you, we believe in God. What about somebody that is not a Christian? Because I talked about this yesterday or the other day. I was doing a thing on starting businesses, and we're trying to promote people to move from workers to being entrepreneurs, and we talk about the fear of how things will come to people's mind and they'll get discouraged because maybe the circle they're around, they'll tell them you can't do this, you've never done it before, no one in your family's done it before. And so we'll get a good ideal, and then after the ideal, fear will then hit us. My son is on here. Go ahead and call in, son. Hit the call-in line. So fear creeps in. So how does that happen? How do you get over that?
I would say that from what I see and what I believe is that you cannot allow other people
turn that music down in the background.
What?
Either roll your window up or turn your music down. I hear a lot of either air or something. Run your air conditioner.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Greg.
What I would say is that I believe that when it comes to fear, your greatest movement and testimony of where you can be in your life success is on the other side of fear. And you have to not be afraid to step out and do something that you know is maybe uncommon to you because you've been accustomed to being in a particular environment. But when you step out and really do it, you find out that there's growth, and you get on the other side of this mountain. I don't know. I can hear myself.
Yeah, you're hearing yourself because somebody is probably on a speakerphone or got their window down. So put your headset in or turn your air conditioner on or whatever.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, I believe your greatest victory and the things that you are possessed to do is on the other side of fear. Because everybody has this notion that, to stay secluded into a certain box. It's like, well, I want to be successful, but I don't want to really go. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through pain. I don't want to go through losing things, But the greatest people that we see today in our world that we idolize, that we market our success journey of wanting to be like, have lost multiple times over. And they'll tell you right now that, if they had to do it all over again, they wouldn't change anything because look where it brought them. It put them in a position not only to gain, but to understand why it is that they're there. And I think that the reason why a lot of people are not successful is because a lot of people have been conditioned to operate in being content, in contentment, and not stepping out and really just challenging themselves. You have to challenge yourself. You have to know that there is something in you that you possess that's greater than you, and you have to tap into that, and you have to channel that's inside of you. Like I said, when it came to modeling and acting, I never seen myself as being a model or actor, but people kept calling it out of me. They kept saying, "Man, when I see you, man, you need to be on GQ magazine. You need to be in a movie. You have persona, you have charisma, you nice looking guy, you have the brains of an actor or the brains of and looks of a model, and so it got to the point where the right person came to me and said, look, man, you need to be doing this. And when he said it, it was just like a trigger point, like, you know what, maybe this is what I need to do. And the moment that I did it, man, it's like, man, it's life changing. I can't even explain the things that are happening for me right now.
So you got a show that's coming up that you're going to be on. Is it a series or is this a movie or what is it going to be?
It's an actual movie. It's an actual movie.
Okay, so this will be your first movie role.
Film.
Okay, so it's going to be a traditional film. Yep. So everybody, and as you get closer, and you can tell us more about it, because we can't give out the plot and all that right now. But as we get closer, Greg's going to be back on to tell us more about his career, and if you're interested in getting into movies and modeling. He can help you out. He can lead you to somebody that's good, that's not going to take advantage of you. Somebody's going to tell you the truth and get you connected with people. Some of you may need to take classes. Some of you may need to do a lot of things. You may need to get in shape, because when you're in movies and
Absolutely.
modeling, Greg did he did a commercial for Smile Direct. So when you look at Smile Direct, you'll see Greg. He's all over the world with Smile Direct, and now he's getting ready to be in his first movie role. And we're going to support him. He's a black young man. He's young. He's handsome. He's got his education. He's doing things, and so you just remember, you heard it here on Clapback. When he becomes like Wesley Snipes and Denzel Washington and all of them, Morgan Freeman, you're gonna say you met and got a chance to listen to a star that was on Clapback. So now we're gonna get into our little subject that we're gonna talk about here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So now I don't know if you saw this, Greg, but the other day my spirit, my soul, my heart was disturbed. Uh, I saw it on Facebook first, and then there was an interview conducted yesterday by Chris Cuomo with this young lady that was wrongfully stopped and accused of being in a stolen vehicle, and her 6-year-old daughter, and her nieces were all pulled out of their vehicle. They put the 6-year-old and the little kids on their stomach, put them in handcuffs, and finding out that they were actually looking for, I think they said, a motorcycle or something. Didn't even, and this lady was driving a minivan. She was just sitting in the parking lot. She went to go, it was on a Sunday. She went to take out uh, her young nieces and her daughter to have a beauty day. And they went to this one particular shop. It was closed. So she was looking on her phone to go somewhere else. And lo and behold, as she's sitting there, a whole group of police officers come and they pull their guns immediately on this family that's doing nothing. And in the interview yesterday, you could see she was visibly traumatized by what occurred, what happened to her, and most importantly, as she talked about her 6-year-old daughter who was in she had a prince's thing on her head, dressed up like any little girl, like to dress up or whatever. The other young people, none of them were teenagers. They were all young. And they pulled them out of this van and put them on the ground, handcuffed with guns pointed at them.
Wow.
And what I don't get is, prior to the recordings of live recordings of individuals that we've seen, Black people have been telling everyone about the abuse that they have been suffering in our communities with police brutality and police violence and murder of police. You then have all of these videos that have come out. You have the George Floyd situation. You have the Ahmaud Arbery, the Breonna Taylor. You have the gentleman in Atlanta. I forget his name. You have the young guy in Colorado. All of these videos that have come out. We have the video of the police officer who, before pulling the man out of his car, looks into the camera and tells everybody, get ready for the show, yanks this guy out of the car and tells him, what do you think about that? And what I don't get, Greg, is with all of the videos that are going around, why are police not cautious in how they're approaching people of color?
Honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's because, like I've constantly said before, they know this is a fixed fight for them.
Mm-hmm.
They know that if they pull out a gun on a black man or a black lady, that they don't have to worry about any type of consequence. We're seeing it time and time and time and time and time again, that all these officers that have been indicted for such erroneous crimes of killing unarmed black individuals have gotten off.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't have any fear in their eyes towards any civilian, in particular black people.
Right.
And it's saddening, man, but we are literally in the survival of the fittest in this hour as black Americans. Because at any given moment, we could have a gun in our head. We
Listen
could
to
be the
this.
next victim of gun
Listen to
violence.
this one. Here is this was something posted previously on Facebook. In 2012, Anna Brown, a 29-year-old mom of two kids, visited the hospital complaining of leg pain. When she was ignored at St. Mary's Hospital, she refused to leave, screaming and yelling in pain, and couldn't stand. The cops dragged her out of the hospital and into a squad car. At the Richmond Heights Police Department, she cried that she couldn't stand up or get out of the car, so she was dragged out of the car into a jail cell and left her there. 15 minutes later, she was dead from pulmonary embolism.
Mm,
So
wow.
we continue to see that, and what I don't get is we continue to see uh, Black lives don't matter. And what I don't get is the various comments from Black people. Even this woman who claims to be a Christian that's going around defaming and painting over murals of Black Lives Matter, talking about Black lives don't matter, Black lives, Black person. And
Wow.
I just, I mean, I can understand it from, at some point in time, we have to say that some white people are never going to like Black people because they feel superior. This is not all white people, okay? So let's get that clear. But for the people who hate us, legislation is not going to make them love us, and they're not going to love us. But when we as a people are the ones that are against Black Lives Matter for whatever reason, I mean, I was just talking to someone, and I'll let you jump in here in a minute. I was just talking to someone earlier today about. I was talking to a gentleman on Facebook the other day, and he's a Christian, an African American Christian, and he says he's voting for Trump because Trump is against abortion. Now, think about this. Your reason for voting for Trump is because he's against abortion, because you say that that is a godly principle, but all of the other godly principles that he misses, you overlook. And there's just, I don't understand how you can take one thing such as that and overlook all the other things. This man has committed adultery on every last one of his wives. He has done horrific things throughout his life, and yet and still people are voting for him, and Black people are voting for him. I just don't get it. Maybe you can help me with that. You still there? Yeah,
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You still have Black people, man. You have Black people that are still stuck in Stockholm syndrome, man, and they'll never come out of it because, unfortunately, they feel like they got a taste of the silver spoon in their mouth, and now they don't feel like they're Black anymore. They don't feel like they belong to the Black culture, And that's the saddening part, man, is that we have such division within ourselves as a race, as a culture, that it disfranchises us, man, from really uniting in the realm in which we really can become. And that is where I say, when it comes to this election, what would be the most, if in fact this man is to get back in office, a lot of us, in some of the aspects, it's going to be because we are so divided within ourselves, man, that we are not united enough to get out and vote as a united front to, not for the cause of of white and black.
Hmm.
Because you do have white people, man. Believe it or not, that are standing toe to toe with black people and are against this. But from the angle of the system, man, and the justice and the injustices against black Americans, the
Yeah.
system that has literally disfranchised us, demoralized us, dehumanized us for decades, and now, we are at a particular time, man, that this election can really decide in the course of what this world's going to be like for the next 20 to 30, 40, 50 years. Because,
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I was watching a post from Candace Owens, and on this particular video that she was doing, and she said something like the video had gotten over 100 million views across the world because she was saying her first statement was that no one agreed with the shooting of George Floyd or the killing and murder of George Floyd. But then she says, but to celebrate this man's life and to use him as the cause for changing is wrong because of whatever criminal history he has or doesn't have. And I just don't understand that thinking because it's not about a person's criminal past. It's about what happened to him in that instance. That the context of what is going on today has nothing to do with any crime that he committed or did not commit prior to that. Because even if you take the crime that they alleged that he did about trying to pass a $20 bill, okay, if he did that, arrest him, take him to jail, and let the court system handle it. You don't murder him. And
right,
so when you look at her post and what she's trying to prove, again, is that it's almost like she's trying to prove the point of those that are against the equality of black people when she herself used the NAACP to win a lawsuit because she alleged racism was happening against her in the school system. And then she turns her back on the very people that she called upon to help her to get this money. And I just don't understand. I just don't get what, like you say, the Stockholm syndrome with black people. And I know that's the case, but I'm trying to get into the mind of how any black person at this point in time, because then, they talk about, well, it was the Democrats that were the Dixiecrats that were the ones who did slavery and Jim Crow and all that. But with Nixon and the initiative that he had when they switched over to the Republican Party, because, and like I told somebody the other day, I said, even though the Democratic Party was the one who started the Klan, started all the violence and whatever else, it switched because they all switched over to the Republican Party, and they began to be the ones that were running the Jim Crow. And I said, find me one neo-Nazi, KKK, white supremacist group that supports any Democrat. They don't. They support the Republicans.
right,
So when you
right,
look at it, you can't go by what somebody did necessarily 30, 40, 50 years ago. What are they doing today?
right.
They
And if we want to
specifically
be
had an
technical,
agenda to not include black people in the Republican Party.
and if we want to be technical about everything, it was the Nixon administration
Yes.
that coined the term, public enemy number one, which later on came out and said it was the anti-left war people and black folks that they were
Yes.
going after.
Because
This
it's
whole
amazing that they
initiative
will
with
call Black Lives Matter terrorists. But you've never once heard them call the KKK, neo Nazis, any of them terror. We've been trying to get them to label them as a terrorist organization. President Trump won't do it. The Republicans won't do it. They will always say Antifa and Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization, which There's a difference between Black Lives Matter, the movement, and Black Lives Matter, the organization. And irregardless of whether you want to say that Black Lives Matter, the organization, is about socialism and anarchy, they're still doing things to feed people. They want to talk about they're getting paid and all this money that they're getting, but they're giving back in the community to provide education, to provide tutoring, to provide food and shelter. So you may not agree with their political philosophy, and I'm of an opinion that I wouldn't mind if they tore down the entire American Constitution and started over, because the Constitution is rotten to the core. In the Constitution, you're three-fifths of a man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why they treat us as such, because the Constitution still backs it and still complies with that. And so, like you said, going back to the point about terrorists, labeling of terrorists, it's been 1 year of the day, a couple of days ago, rather, since the mass murdering of all those civilians in El Paso, Texas, in Walmart. And you think about all of these big mass murderings. You come out, you find out it's a white person that did all this shit. And yet, and still, they are not labeled terrorists. They get
look at Dylan Leonard guy that goes into a church and worships, and after he worships with black people, he kills them. And before they take him to jail, they take him to Burger King.
Right.
And give him a Whopper with cheese, French fries, and something to drink before he goes to jail. And then you take the judge here in Dallas, Texas, where I am, and you have a cop who murdered a black man, lied about it, tried to set it up to look like he did something wrong. And when her story didn't hold, she gets convicted, and the black judge comes off of her bench, gives her a Bible and gives her a hug. You ain't done that for no black person. You haven't done that for anybody else but her, but because she's a police officer, you're telling her, and you only give her 10 years, which means she'll get out in 7 to 8. But you give her a Bible, you go into your office and you give her your personal Bible, you hug her, tell her everything is going to be all right and you're going to be a better person when you get out. How many black people that stood before you that you convicted did you not tell them how horrible they were? Here is a police officer that tried to cover up her crime.
Right. And that is why Black Lives Matter. That is why black people are in the streets. They are daily in and out protesting the injustices. I don't care what your view is about the whole organization in terms of its foundational principle. Okay, the whole tagline in itself is what matters to me, and that is a black life does matter to me. A black life should matter to you, just like a white life should matter, a Hispanic life should matter, an Asian life matter. You know what? Those lives do matter to me. Yes, all lives do matter, because I don't believe in killing other people to get resolution to an issue. You're creating more havoc killing somebody else. But it has to be equal. And the issue is that it's not. Because like you just talked about, this white lady got a hug and a Bible and a pat on her hand and said, it's going to be okay. You'll be out in a few years and life will move on for you. But if a black man winks at a white woman, he gets the electric chair.
Yes,
he gets
sir.
lynched. He's getting beaten to a pulp. And yet there's no justice for that. So,
none whatsoever. And it's like, until Black Lives Matter, no life matter, because you have to take the least of us. And we're looked at as the least in society everywhere. I have traveled across this world. I've been in the Caribbean, I've been different places, and black people are treated differently everywhere you go, because the world looks at America as this shining city on a hill. And they say if America treats them this way, then they must be less, so we treat them this way. And so until you make Black Lives Matter, then you can't say all lives matter, because your life matters. Because you don't have to sit down and have a conversation with your sons and daughters of how to act when a police officer stops you. You don't have to worry about what neighborhood you're going to live in. There are still communities in America today that Black and brown people cannot live in. White people can live anywhere in this country they want to, where they choose to. I always say, when people say, well, white people wouldn't go live in Compton. Let me tell you something. If a white person lived in Compton, anybody gonna mess with them, because they're gonna think, first of all, they crazy for moving to Compton. But if you take a Black person and move them out into a rural community, their house is going to get burnt down, or they're going to spray KKK on it. They're going to burn crosses in it. They're going to spit on their kids when they go to school. I mean, come on.
Absolutely, man. I like I said, we will continue to have this ring around the rosy situation go on in America until Black people are given a formal apology that is actually meaningful and is sincere to the core of all the mistreatment of our ancestors, all of us that have been mistreated in this country since the inception of us being here in America as slaves.
And the only way they can do that, they've got to restore our families. They've got to restore our wealth. They've got to restore our education. They have got to pay. There's a cost associated with the destruction that you think about this, Greg. We will go into a country and have a war and tear that country up. And after the war, we will spend billions and trillions of dollars helping them build their country back up so that they can have an economic base in the world and not need assistance. But when it comes to us here in our own land, you don't want to restore us, but you can restore Iraq. You can restore Kuwait. You can restore Germany. You can restore every place you've been. You can send billions and trillions of dollars to help them to rebuild their highways and bridges and their infrastructure, and send medical help, send aid to our enemies that were once our enemies. You help build Japanese and Japan from the war when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Every war that we've been in, that we've been a part of the destruction, we have given money to help build these countries back.
Yep.
But you don't want to restore Black people. You want to say, I apologize, but that's as far as it goes. I'm just going to say, I'm sorry. So get over it. Quit being a victim. Quit being a victim. We're sorry. Quit being a victim.
Man, we're done with, and see, that's the thing. They better be glad that Black people are looking for equality and not revenge.
You're absolutely right, because I'm going to tell you what, this younger generation, here's what I believe is going to happen. If America doesn't restore the Black family, the finance, the education, the health of Black America, the generations that are coming up, they're not going to want equality. They're going to want revenge. And as the population of white America decreases and the population of people of color increase, now you're going to have a situation where you're outnumbered. And there may be an opportunity that you will experience some of the same oppression, or even worse, that you have promoted throughout the time of history since you've been in existence. Because you haven't built anything, you haven't earned anything, you have gone in and taken everything you have in every country. Right.
And that's where, man, I say that we as a people, we better be prepared, man, because I truly believe that before it's all said and done, there's going to be another massive outbreak that's going to happen. in terms of someone else, man, that's just gonna spark another move. But I think this time, if they don't do what they need to do to really make this right, y'all think it was bad the first time when George Floyd died? Let somebody else get killed like
No,
that
let me
man.
tell you what's going to happen. I believe that there's going to be something else, and I think it's going to, continue to escalate the situation. But I'm going to tell you what is, and people are going to think this is kind of radical, but I'm going to tell you what I think that can spark another civil war, and the president is already setting it up. If he doesn't win this election, he's not going to leave the White House. He is going to try to stay in the White House. And when he does that, if he were to lose the election, because he's already saying the post office is not going to do it right. The mail-in ballots are going to be crooked. The election is rigged. All of these things he's saying is getting people ready. He's already said that he's not going to accept, if he loses, he said he's not going to accept the election results. He said it could take years to find out who won the election. His supporters, predominantly white, a lot of them are gun owners, they have guns and whatever else. There's going to be a civil war getting this man to leave the White House.
Yep. That is so. I see it happening, man. I see it happening. I think we're just like on this teeter totter, man. We're on this teeter totter, and it's like kind of like that cartoon where the rock is on the edge of the cliff. It hasn't fell all the way off yet, but it's right there. That's where we are, man, in this country. And I believe that if Trump does not win this election, the rock is gonna fall down the cliff. And that's
The
when we're gonna
Candace
start
Owens of the
seeing.
day and the diamonds and silk and all these uh, mouthpieces for these white supremacists, the black people going around and saying that there's no systemic racism, the black people going around saying that there is no police brutality. They're going to find out. They're going to
Yep,
find out that they are not a part of the club. They were only honorary members, and their
that's right.
passes are going to be revoked.
That's right.
And I
That's
hope
right.
that when it gets revoked, that the black community does not accept those people back in. If you're a traitor, stay a traitor. Stay on your own.
Right. 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 Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that because
Because
it's
what we're about
definitely.
to face and what we're about to see, I believe, like I say, there's going to be continued police brutality. This man breaks the law. He uses the military and the National Guard to go in. He's already used secret police to go into communities and round people up in the street. Um, he's trying to postpone the election. He's bringing doubt on the election. The Republicans are letting him do it. Whatever he says, go. He said this COVID-19 was fake. He said it would go away. He said all the lies he's told, and people are still supporting him.
Straight foolishness, man.
Straight foolishness.
Foolishness. I just simply don't get it, man. But I also understand that we live in a world where people are, are citing their opinions based upon the media, what the media portrays in certain attributes, and people argue what Fox News says, what CNN says,
Mm-hmm.
and that has become a war, of many things. A lot of times, people that I talk to, most white people that I talk to, that argue their different principles about what they feel this franchise or maybe this um, 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 in a sense of disrespecting. They're saying the disrespect level of what Black Lives Matter does. They always want to tie it to CNN.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, they do.
listen, man, this ain't about CNN, okay? This is
Right.
about me. You're talking to a black man right now, okay?
You
Talk
know,
to me.
it's amazing you say that because the friend that I was talking to, me and him were talking about the abortion issue, and He said he's a black pastor. He was talking to this white pastor, and the white pastor said, I just can't vote for Biden. I'm sympathetic to what's going on in the black community. I'm sympathetic to the police brutality, but Biden believes in abortion and Trump doesn't. And my black pastor friend said to this guy, which I thought was so profound because it shut the guy up. He couldn't even respond. He said, brother, you care more about a life that you've never seen, but you don't have any compassion for the ones that are here that are being murdered in the street, being beat in the street, and who don't have equal rights. You'll fight for a baby that you've never seen, but you won't fight for the people that you can see. And he said when he said that to the guy, he said the guy couldn't say anything.
Wow.
Because if you think about it, how stupid is that? You will fight for the life of an unborn child that is not even here. Me personally, I don't believe in abortion. Okay, but I'm not going to tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. That's between her, the person she got pregnant by, and God. But here,
Right.
You will fight for the rights of a baby that's in the womb. But yet and still, you have babies that you don't want to give WIC. You don't want to give food stamps. You don't want to give health care. You don't want to give a way out of poverty. You don't want to help the parents take care of the child. But you'll fight for a child that you've never seen, that's not even walking, crying, and breathing outside of the womb.
Wow. So sad, man.
It is.
So sad, man.
It is.
It's this is the world we live in, man. Like I said, we'll be in the ring around the rosy scenario until America, white America, makes this right. Because see, black people can't fix racism. Okay,
Right.
This is a white America's job because white America started it. They brought it here. They instituted it.
Mm-hmm.
They need to fix this. Okay, we have our own issues. So yes, don't try to use the comparison of y'all got black on black. I don't want to hear nothing about black on black crime. Please leave that crap
Apples
out
and
of your
oranges.
mouth.
Apples and oranges.
Right. I don't want to hear that. I want y'all to own up, take ownership for once in your life, in your culture. Take ownership for the hurt and the anguish and the systemic racism that has demoralized, dehumanized, that has disfranchised, that has literally tormented black families.
That's what they don't understand.
Centuries.
Yeah, we have our problems, but where did our problems stem from as a people? It's the systems that you put in place against us. You taught us to kill each other. You taught us to hate ourselves. You told us we were nothing. You told us we're not even a full human being. You told us you wouldn't allow us to read and write because you didn't want us to have knowledge. You told us that God wanted us to be your slaves. You whipped us. You beat us. You made us as men stand in front of you when you raped our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our grandmothers. You did all of these things. You wouldn't let us live. And then when Reconstruction came and we started getting some things and built our own communities, you came in and burnt it down. And you put drugs in our community. You use us and pit us against one another. You tell us that the light skin is more beautiful than the dark skin. You have our women buying your hair in weaves so that we think straight hair is the beauty of today, and we're trying to look like people that we're not. So yeah, we have issues, but we have these issues because you put it in us.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's when I say that they can't be upset at what they're seeing because they are a byproduct of why this is existing, why this is happening in our country. And until they understand that there are things that they have to acknowledge and admit that they have done wrong to us, to begin the processing of fixing the issues in our communities, especially on the financial end of things. Because I mean, here's the thing, man. What community is in a systemic
is in a sustainable place that is not established financially.
Right.
Most communities, okay, in America, like these citizens police communities that we see in the suburban areas, how many times you hear about crime out there? How many times you hear about quote unquote black on black? And listen, I got a neighbor right across the street from me, and we're black people, or two young black people living oblique from each other in the neighborhood. Do you see them killing each other in the street?
No, because there's economics, there's education, there's healthcare,
Absolutely.
there's good clean water. When you go to the grocery store, you have a great selection of food, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. You have all of these things that you don't have in the inner city.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, you can't get mad at a situation when there's literally no options available. Just like in my hometown, in Indianapolis, they shut down the Boys and Girls Club off of 16th Street, 16th and Kessler. Man, that was the hot spot for us young people. When I was growing up, man, I was living on Sheffield, walked all the way down there to the Boys Club, played football down there, played basketball, went swimming. We built friendships in the community. Parenting became tag team parenting was the initiative in that community because if we play football together, the parent says, "Well, I'll take you home on Monday." Your mom can take you home, take you and my son home Tuesday, and then they alternate. Then it created a bonding, it created a community.
Yep.
And when they take that away from us, you take away the potential of building and establishing relationships that can decrease the amount of violence that goes on in these communities. When you don't have
there was a posting on Facebook where in Philadelphia, it was like 100 degrees outside. And there was a group of young people standing on the bus stop. One of them had his T-shirt out. They were teenagers. And this white officer, and he was a male, and a white female pulled up. They get out. They start harassing these teenagers. Teenagers are like, what's going on? I mean, they're questioning them, talking about, what are you doing here? You need to move. And they're like, we're standing at the bus stop waiting on the bus. And so he gets mad. He takes the guy that has no shirt on, throws him in the back of the car, roughing him up, whatever. And the bus comes, and the other kids wouldn't get off because they said, we're not leaving him here. We're going to wait until he because what did he do? He didn't do anything. So the police officer finally lets him out of the back of the car and says, well, what are you doing out here? Standing out here looking like a thug on the corner with no shirt on. They're like, it's hot out here. I mean, I didn't know it was a crime that you couldn't wear a shirt out. White people wear a shirt out when it's 20 degrees. They take their shirt off when it's 20, 30 degrees. Nobody say nothing, but because he's standing on the corner on a bus stop, not just any corner, he's standing at the bus stop with the other people. You want to single this guy out, you want to put him in the back of the police car, you want to rough him up. Of course, 5 or 10 other police officers show up. And then, like I say, eventually they let him out of the police car, and the police is trying to say, well, I didn't do anything wrong. I just, you were standing out here with no shirt on. And they're like, but it's 100 degrees outside, and we're at the bus stop. We're not doing anything wrong. It's like, at what point in time can you be a human being? At what point in time are you not going to be questioned? When I first, me and you from Indianapolis. Now, I moved out to Carmel back in, my son was born in 94. We moved out to Carmel in the 90s, right? When I first moved out there, I had a Mercedes-Benz, and I was pastoring. And I would come home from church I would drive down, normally I would drive down Keystone to get into Carmel. I would literally, if I was coming home at nighttime, I would be followed by the police. I would be stopped by the police. That sometimes they would follow me all the way home until I got home. One particular time, not only did they follow me when I got home, they got out of the car to make sure that my key worked in the door. Asked me, how do you afford that car? What are you doing living out here? What do you mean? I got a job.
Wow.
One particular time, I was coming home, and I knew I was going to get stopped. Because back then Perkins was open, and it was me, Donnie, Derek, all the boys. We was all out, stayed out at Perkins until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So as I proceeded to go home, I was in my Mercedes Benz, and next I see this cop going the opposite way of me. Okay, so and I said to myself, they're gonna turn around. Guess what? They turned around. So they stopped me, and I said, how are you, officer? There's like, driver's license, registration, please. And I was like, well, can you tell me what you stopped me for? Just get out of the car. So, I knew they was tripping, so I got out of the car. I said, can you please tell me what you stopped me for? They said, well, we stopped you because we got a noise ordinance out here, and we heard your music banging. I said, oh, you did? They said, absolutely. Now we're going to search your car. I said, well, you can search my car. I said, you know what's interesting, officer? I said, my radio is broke. I said, it's been broke for a couple of weeks, and I got an appointment tomorrow to go get it fixed. No, it's not. We heard you bumping music. Sir, my radio is broke. So his partner goes in the car to start searching the car and turns on the radio, and the radio doesn't work. I said, ma'am, does the radio work? So she calls him over, pulls him aside, and then they come back to me and say, have a good night, and leave. Now, how many white people does that happen to?
Right.
See, y'all don't experience what we go through. So when we tell you these stories, you don't believe it because your assumption is, well, he had to be doing something wrong because the police don't stop me for no reason. It's because you're not black.
Right.
Why do I have to explain to you? Why do I have to explain to you where I'm driving and where I'm going? I'm a grown man.
Absolutely, man. It's sad. It's sad, man. This is the world in which we continue to live in and see daily. And I fear for my younger generation because man, the way that things are now. Who knows, man? How long a life expectancy is for a young black man, a young black lady. They're not guaranteed to live to be 21 nowadays. Not guaranteed to live to be 30, man. And which is sad, but it's because we live in a climate that has taglined us as being a threat. When really, man, all we want to do is be successful in whatever endeavors we want without any confrontation. But
we know what the biggest crime in America is? Do you know what the biggest crime in America is? What's the biggest crime you can commit in America? Let me tell you what the biggest crime is. The biggest crime that you can commit, the biggest crime that you can ever commit in America is to disrespect a police officer. When they come to you, notice if you've ever gotten pulled over by a police officer. They don't conversate with you like me and you talking. They talk at you. They talk in an authoritative voice. Even if they're violating your rights, they make you think that they can do what they want to. They're suspicious of you from jump one. And if they tell you to do something and you ask a question, why? Oh, it's on. It's on. What are you trying to hide? You're under arrest because you're prohibiting an investigation. They'll drum up charges, make up a bunch of charges. What they do is when they file, if you've ever been stopped by the police officers and taken to jail, you'll be taken to jail for one thing, but by the time you get an attorney, they have put about 12 different charges on you because they're trying to get one of them to stick. Because the judge and the lawyer is going to look and say, well, maybe he didn't do this, but he had to do something. They charge him with 12 different offenses. Wow. And then they tell you to plead down for something that you didn't even do. And here in America, what a lot of people don't know, you don't have to have a crime on your record of misdemeanor or a felony. If you get arrested, you have what's called an arrest record. When you fill out an application and they ask you if you had a misdemeanor or a felony and you put no, they go do your history. It'll come back that you had an arrest record and they will ask you, well, why did you get arrested? Because in their mind, they're saying you did it. They just couldn't prove it because they wouldn't have arrested you. This is how white people think. They wouldn't have arrested you because we never got arrested when we didn't do anything. So why would these nice police officers arrest you if you didn't do it? You either took a plea or your lawyer was smart enough to get through a loophole. So explain, why did they arrest you?
Sad, man.
It
So
really is,
sad,
man.
man.
It
So
is.
sad. Wow.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on talking. I can't wait till you on that big screen, bro. Don't forget about little old clapback, man, when you make it. I already told you you're gonna
Yes,
make it.
sir.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll
Yes,
have me on
sir.
your show and I'll interview you when you get big and large and in charge, because it's coming. I believe it's gonna be a blockbuster.
I believe it,
Let me go
man.
out and prophesy. It's gonna be a $200 million gross revenue movie.
Man. Well, no, we gonna find out. We gonna see. We gonna see, man. We gonna see.
Yeah,
But it's the
yeah.
beginning of something great, man. I do. I truly believe that. I believe it's the beginning of something
Now,
very
America, this
special
is a
in our
black
life, man.
man. It's a young black man. He's not in trouble, never been to jail, got education. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do. And yet and still, he has to wake up and be careful. Greg, please tell them before we leave, when you were delivering food, tell us that story of what happened.
I do Instacart deliveries at times, and one particular day I was delivering groceries to a customer, and the way that the apartment is set up, there's like a apartment garage that you have to access into in order to get to the actual elevator to go up the stairs, up the elevator to this particular floor to deliver the groceries. And this particular area was shut down because of construction or whatever the case may be. It was not available to access, and so I seen an opening on the side of the door, which was a stair casing, and so I went up the stairs to the act to be able to access into the actual garage. And there that is standing here is this white lady, and I asked her. I said, "Ma'am, I'm trying to locate this particular apartment. Can you let me know if I'm in the right area?" And I showed her the name, the customer. I think I gave her more information than she should have really had. But I gave her the address, apartment, the name of the customer, and and who I was. I had my badge on from Instacart, and this lady, was like, "Yeah, you're in the right area, but you have to go downstairs to the main area to the office because you can't go up these stairs." I said, "But this is the right way to get there, right?" "Well, yes." I said, "Well, why is it that I have to go to the office, which is clear across on the other side, which is the area where it's construction, and I can't access the area. I don't even know where I will be. I don't even know where I will actually be going. Why would I have to go on that side to come back over here again when I'm already here, and all I have to do is get on the elevator where you're standing at to
Mm.
get on the second floor to deliver these groceries?" And she literally didn't have an answer for it. She just said, "Well, you can't get on this elevator." Then when I said, "Well, ma'am, I have this food in my hand. I have to go upstairs. I need to go upstairs to get this to this customer because I have other deliveries to make." She's literally stood in front of the elevator and would not move. And
Mm.
so, before angry black men came out, and then I would have got called. The police would have been called on me, and I would have been, choked out, shot, beat, dog would have chewed on my leg, whatever. I just decided to go down the stairs, wait for the lady to go up the elevator, and then went back up the stairs, got on the elevator, delivered the food. Come to find out, the actual code, the way that you can access into that particular apartment is broken in that particular area. So the customer, number one, it wasn't even the main customer that had ordered the groceries. It was his girlfriend. She didn't even have knowledge that I was coming to deliver groceries, so she wouldn't even been able to even help me. Number one, when I
Mm.
called the customer and told him what was going on, it was nothing he could do because he's at work and he can't access me into the apartment complex. So I literally would have been stuck with their groceries, all because this lady decides that I present myself as a threat to her, and all I'm
So you
doing
had your
is
uniform
deliver.
on, you had your badge, you had the groceries, you were at the right place. but black people don't want to work, but you want to hinder a black man from working.
They all in a nutshell. You said it all in a nutshell. And that lets me know, man, that this stuff happens every day. When we see these videos of these white people going crazy, and calling black people niggers and all that kind of stuff, this stuff happens on a daily basis to us. You can almost throw a dime out and it's gonna hit somebody, and they're gonna be the next victim.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad, man. But
It is.
we gotta keep moving, man. We got, as Jesse Jackson said, we gotta keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. Black people keep hope alive. Keep moving. White people keep joining, so that we can
Yes.
become just people. And while we recognize our differences in color, see the whole fallacy of race. Race was a created thing. We're the human race. There's no difference. We made it different because we wanted to have superiority and all this other mess. So again, thank you, man, for coming
Yes,
on.
sir.
I do appreciate you, man. As always, I'm gonna be in touch with you. Y'all just heard from the next up and coming movie star. Watch out for him because he's talented. He's got the looks. He's got the brains. He's versatile. I'm telling you. Y'all remember him, Greg. Y'all heard him first on Clapback. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
You've been listening to Clapback, brought to you by Kingdom Keys and Healthy Living. If you would like to support Clapback, please do so by hitting the Patreon button here on Podbean, or you can cash app us at $Pastor K50. That's $Pastor K50. 100% of your contribution will go to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and build our communities. You can support the Shriners Hospital and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. If you would like to correspond with us, please do so at clapback770@gmail.com. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time for Clap